for the technical issues. I believe they should be fixed now. Sorry about that. It looks like we have Vonkie in Palace 1, and Link, meanwhile, is still exploring the Eastern Continent. It should be noted that I think Link has found all of the palaces. Well, he's found 6. I know he's found 1 through 3, and 4 and 6. He might not have found Palace 5 yet, but he's found most of the palaces. Vonkie has also found a large chunk of the palaces. As we see him picking up this key here, he doesn't have the magic key like Link does, so that's going to slow him down a little bit, unfortunately. Since he will have to go out of his way to find keys. He does have the fairy spell, however, so that'll be helpful to him. Link not finding much of anything on the northern half of this continent. What Link really wants to find is that child that Vonkie found, so that he can get the fairy spell. That's what he really wants. He does find Thundertown. So let's see what he gets out of here. And he finds the Reflect spell. One of the spells that is required to beat the game. It'll be interesting to see what Link does next year with that Reflect spell. He might go back into 4. He does not have Downstab or Fairy, but he does have the magic key. And look at this, Nukasudo nearby as well. Let's see how many magic containers it's going to take. 7. It's going to take 7 magic containers. So, unfortunately for Link, nothing he can get here besides the spell. I wonder if we'll see him up A after he gets this spell, if he's going to keep looking around for that water tile a little bit more. Larry having flashbacks to his time in Nam. I mean, his race last night when he was key blocked. And we've got the jump spell in Nukasudo. It looks like Link is going to continue to explore a little bit, presumably for that water tile, since he does have the boots, which is actually very important for him. He does need that water tile, since it will allow him to get the fairy spell. We have found the item in Palace 1 on Vonkie's side. And it's a magic container. Vonkie is still at attack 2, which is a pretty low attack level, even for this point in the game. You'd really like to have attack 3 heading into the palaces. Certainly, though, Palace 1 is doable with attack 2. It's more about the long-term leveling. It's not that Palace 1 is too difficult with attack 2, it's that if you don't start getting your attack levels up early, it kind of limits how many attack levels you'll be able to get in the game. But Vonkie's a good player. He doesn't need to get up to attack 8 to finish a seed. He probably doesn't even need to get up to attack 7 to finish a seed. The lack of downstab is really hurting Link. He does have the jump spell, so he can get downstab when he goes back to the Eastern Continent. But yeah, he really is missing that downstab right now. I think I might have just been joined in the commentator's booth by my co-commentator Joshy D. Looks like he might just be getting set up here. Link really spending a lot of time in this Eastern Continent, not finding what he's looking for.
there we are. I was muted.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen.
So just to recap for you and the rest of the folks out there watching, we have found some really good items in this race. We got the raft right away. Both players found the boots pretty quickly as well, and Link has found the magic key. So
so we have everything.
really,
we could just go.
really.
Cannon.
Well, the glove is the big question mark at this point. Where is the glove? Vonkie's biggest advantage is that he has found the fairy spell, and Link has not. So.
Oh, that fairy spell is so good. If Vonkie doesn't have the fairy spell, does he have jump? Can he get down stab? That's what I'm always.
Link can't get down stab. I think that's where he's going right now. Actually, is to get down stab with the jump spell.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the restream right now just so I can see the items checklist. That's gonna be really important.
Sure.
But I know that if I have the raft, I know a lot of people will go over to the eastern continent because there's just so many items laying on the ground over there. A ton of pea bags, the desert tile, and all the stuff on Maze Island. But if I don't have downstab, man, I am really scared to do it. Those tektites over there are monstrous. The invisible moas can be just so much trouble, and downstab really makes it a lot easier to survive.
Yeah, and we saw that on Link's side actually just a few minutes right before you got here. He was doing his best to explore, but having some trouble without downstab.
Yeah, because I mean, if you do make the gamble to do early. Eastern continent, just to like run over there and try to grab items, you're probably at a pretty low level, and those moas, they'll just do so much damage.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix some audio issues. I'm being told you're very low, but I've got it cranked on my side, so I'm not sure.
Oh, let me give you a little.
Volume literally cannot go any higher on my end.
Let me try to solve that.
So Link is in Mido, and he just grabbed the life spell, and he also grabbed down stab, so he's in pretty good shape now.
Okay, do you got some more?
Oh yeah, it's a lot louder for me. I hope it's loud enough for our viewers.
We're checking the mic.
We are trying to fix this. Let's see if that's a little bit better. I think that should be better, hopefully. So it looks like Vonkie is continuing into Palace 2. Not a bad move for him.
Oh yeah, Vonkie scored with this Fuchsia Palace. One of the nice features of the randomizer is you can randomize the palace color. And I guess the original intention was to make it so that you wouldn't really know what palace you were going into, so you couldn't just recognize it by color. And it does add for a whole lot of extra entertainment while you're going through the game. Get to see some new sights.
Yeah, definitely will do some more things to kind of obscure those palaces as time goes on. I've got some good ideas in mind.
Yeah,
on how to do that.
Yeah, it was just kind of discovered, even though I don't know how much of a discovery it was, that it's possible to identify which palaces you're going into from the pillars out in front.
Yep.
So that sort of spoils everything.
Well, that's a very easy thing for me to change if I want to try and obscure that more. But eventually, I'll probably start swapping rooms around. And
oh no.
You might think you're walking into Palace 1, but if all the rooms are from Palace 2, is it really Palace 1 anymore? It's stuff like that. We see Link battling this blue Iron Knuckle. Does a great job of jackhammering right through him.
Yeah, so he's in Palace 1, and he Link has the magic key, which is really exciting. So that is he's not gonna have to worry about casting fairy to get through these doors.
Or stopping to collect
Yeah.
keys. You see him just walk right past
He
that
wants
one.
nothing to do with that room. Usually there's a nice iron knuckle at the end of it, and it's if you don't have to deal with that, why would you? And then I'm sorry, you said that Vonkie is in Palace 2?
He's in 2 right
Okay.
now.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
there's those statues that shoot bullets at you from both directions.
Yep. So whatever route he was on, he found out he was glove blocked. So hopefully that's not the way to get to Helmet Head, but he's probably got some other places he can search.
So what about Death Mountain? Did anyone decide to dive into Death Mountain? It's something that can really change the complexion of the match.
So Vonkie, they both found it. Vonkie was actually looking around a little bit, especially after he found the boots, which makes Death Mountain exploration much easier. But I actually spoke to Vonkie before the race, and he told me that he's not a big fan of going into Death Mountain early. So I don't think we'll see him search Death Mountain unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah, personally, I always wait until it's proven beyond any doubt that I must go into Death Mountain. I mean, I'll do what most people do, which is a cursory duck into the immediately available caves. But it is something that if someone does go through Death Mountain and it turns out that like a really important item is in there, someone later in the game will have to do a lot of backtracking, especially if that item has to do with the Thunder spell.
Yeah.
And so it's neat to see kind of late game swings from people who did or did not do Death Mountain. It's a big gamble. I don't.
It is a big gamble, but it can potentially have a big payoff. The nice thing about going late is that usually you're better equipped later on in the game, so
Yeah.
better attack, better items, and
yeah, it definitely won't take you nearly as long. But I know that if you do get something important out of there, it can kind of help your exploration because you sort of know where things are, and so you maybe won't go so far out of your way to pick up things hoping that it's the kid or. So
right.
It's neat that the meta is still developing. There is like a lot of conventions that people are using, but people are even kind of trying to outgame the system. Like if they think that they're a competitor who's not quite on the level of their opponent, they might do a risky thing like pull the key out of Death Mountain or take left turns or just do unconventional things hoping that they'll get lucky on a route choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of routing, it looks like the glove is always what we're trying to find in this game, and right now we've narrowed down the glove locations quite a bit. I think the only place the glove could be is in New Kasuto, Death Mountain, or Palace 4 or Palace 5. Those are the only spots left to check for these guys.
Yeah, New Kasuto is interesting because if it's the item there, it could be blocked by the spell or it could be blocked behind magic containers. And sometimes this game can be really stingy on magic containers. The elderly person who gives you the item there will give you the item in the basement for between 5 and 7 magic containers. So
yes, and we've actually already seen her this game. She is demanding 7 magic containers for entry. So.
Oh man. So nice of her.
Vonkie does have the spell. I don't believe that Link has found the spell yet. So Link is behind on spells, I believe. He has more of them, but Vonkie has spell and fairy, which are spells that I think Link wishes he had at this stage of the game.
Oh, fairy, absolutely. But I mean, he does. He has that key, which helps for most of the uses of fairy. The key will not save him from falling into lava.
No. And I think on Vonkie's side, we just confirmed that Palace 2 is glove blocked. You cannot get to Helmet Head without the glove.
So that's a little bit of time that he's not going to get back. It's I mean, it's kind of risky going into. I mean, I guess. Yeah, Palace 2. I mean, oftentimes I end up getting through there without actually needing the glove, so it's an all right choice.
Yeah. I have a very angry cat right now. Sorry about the cat noises coming through.
So did Vonkie just pop into this grass tile? Did he already have the item? I didn't see him actually pick something up.
No, he just got a heart container out
Oh,
of there,
good.
actually.
I know that people who like to go really fast in this game are not always happy to see heart containers. I mean, you want a few of them, but especially in the early game, you're looking for those items that will just open up the world and let you do the route that you want to do, and not do the route that the game wants you to do.
Right, yeah. Interesting fairy strats from Vonkie on the swamp tile there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the fairy is not slowed down by the muck, and sometimes those swamp screens can really get out of hand. You know, if you're moving slow, and let's say there's bubbles and maybe some birds, the randomizer likes to put combinations that the game designers probably wouldn't have chosen, just because they're so unfair. Ooh, and there's the water of life.
Yep. We know that that's going to give the life spell. Link has already acquired the spell out of Mido.
Oh, and he pulled the medicine out of Medicine Cave.
Yep.
So it happens all the time, but we still think it's funny when the randomizer doesn't appear to have randomized something. And it's totally unfair because you're selecting one example out of all of these others. I guess if you play dozens and dozens of seeds, you take the entertainment where you can get it.
Clearly, I need to do my job better. So Vonkie is really kind of blocked on this continent. It looks like he might be going to turn in this medicine, but oh, he hasn't even been to Shield Town yet. What was in Shield Town? I think it was fire, actually.
Yeah, fire could be a really cool spell if it just worked a lot differently. If you were able to cast the fire spell and shoot fire from your sword for like 3 screens, I think it would be worth the money. But it gives you a projectile across the screen. It can be useful in certain cases, like if there's a really annoying enemy. Like I'm thinking in the Great Palace where there's all those platforms over the lava, and sometimes there's a guy who's shooting fire at you. You can, and you're scared of getting knocked into the lava. Like maybe I'd use fire there, just to get a nice projectile. But it's really got limited uses. No one really likes finding it at all. You hope that you get 7 spells and you abandon the 8th because it's fire.
Well, honestly, I usually hope that I just get 3. if all I get is Fairy, Thunder, and Reflect, then I'm a happy camper.
Well, for those of us who really like the extra safety from Shield and Shield and Life are big ones, Spell gets a lot of use. Although I think in Randomizer, the more popular dealing with enemies on screen spell is Thunder. I see Thunder get used in this so often, and it's really great because playing the game casually, I think people don't even realize that it can be that useful, and they just know it as the thing that makes Thunderbird vulnerable. But it's a great way to farm quickly too. If you have a bunch of Lizalfos on screen or some other big ticket items, and you can just blast them all with Thunder, you can collect tons and tons of experience very quickly, and without the danger of like that blue guy throwing a hammer right at Link 7. Those hammers do so much damage.
They do, yes. Speaking of spells, we have Vonkie about to get the life spell, and I think we've actually confirmed that Thunder is in Jump Town. So these players are going to need to find the trophy from somewhere. Could be Death Mountain. I think there's a hammer-blocked cave as well that contains an item. So...
Yes, this is an opportunity to tell people about the few limits on item randomization in this game. The trophy, it can only be found on the Western continent. And
Including Death Mountain.
including Death Mountain.
And then the child and the Water of Life must be on the overworld, but they can be in the east or the west. But you can only find one of them per continent. So if you find the child in the east, you know that the Water of Life is going to be in the west.
And can the trophy be in palaces? Or I think that's an overworld only item, right?
Yeah, it is. It's overworld only. And the reason that happens, if you're looking for an explanation, is because of the sprites, the sprite sheet. The trophy just does not appear on the sprite list for the Eastern continent at all. And there's no room to put it in. Though I might try to change that at some point in the future. And the same thing for the kid and the child. There's one spot for the kid and the child, and you can swap them. But there's no extra room to put another one of those items in. And that goes for the palaces as well. There's no... those items don't appear in the palaces, so...
Look at all this great information we're getting. You know, if you do add the trophy to the Eastern continent, I think it should be hand drawn, so that we know it's the bootleg trophy.
So I think we are going to see Link go into Palace 4 here, and Vonkie is getting upstab, maybe?
Yeah, I mean that's yep, he's doing fairy claws.
I thought he'd already gotten it, but apparently he didn't. He was here before to get the fairy spell, but did not get the kit or the upstab while he was here.
I really like if I have Reflect and I'm on the Eastern continent, I love finding Maze Island. There's 2 items that are available for free. All you have to do is walk on the tile to pick them up. If you're this far into the Eastern continent, you probably have downstab, which makes these screens a whole lot easier because you can just sort of ride over them or fight them if you're awesome, like Link Sevens is. He knows his combat. And then Reflect really is all you need to take Karok down, so it's a nice way to just clear this whole joint off of your checklist, pick up 2 items. It's it's just it's a great thing to get done early, and you'll probably gain a nice attack level off of it, which will make everything else easier because I assume everyone is abusing the gems. And yeah, I am all look at this color. We got the Black Palace. This is amazing.
Oh yeah, that is an interesting color.
Okay, so yeah, Link going back to pick up a little bit of magic off of this statue at the beginning of Palace 4. It can be 50-50 for one of these red iron knuckles, or a jar. Well, he got a jar off the iron knuckle. Oh, but then he picks it up before casting life. Easy mistake to make.
Yep, I've done that so many times. You're a little bit ahead of me, so I'm going to refresh these 2 streams real quick just to see if I can get back on track.
I'm speed running the commentary, Dig Shake.
We did see Vonkie pick up the magic key, so that is going to help him immensely.
Yeah, as these palaces get bigger and bigger, you really don't want to be running around looking for keys, taking wrong turns that burn up the keys that you have. It's just really nice to not have that worry. Plus, I think the fairy spell is going to be more and more useful dealing with some of the more difficult screens in the palaces. So if you don't have to use the fairy spell to go through doors without a key, that's just all the better.
So what just happened on Link's side there? Did he up A, or he's not at Palace 4 anymore? What happened? Did he? I can't imagine that he gamed over, but
I was just looking at Vonkie. What?
It's a something odd happened. I don't know why he would want to leave Palace 4 when he took all the time to get up there.
Yeah, and now he's just going through another palace. What? Yeah, he went down the elevator, and he'd done that farming on the. Was he just trying to get? Well, he took a level, so maybe he decided to. Now that he had a level that he'd been saving up for, he was going to go clear out some other palaces. But that's an odd choice, because, dude, you're already on the island.
Yeah.
Backtracking there.
Maybe he couldn't cast Reflect, I'm not sure.
Oh, he's on...
And Vonkie, I don't see Vonkie as having Reflect unless he picked it up and I wasn't paying attention. But he is in 4.
Going into 4 without Reflect is a bold move. I mean, he's just going to try to scare Karok to death.
Next time he pauses, I'm going to try and double check that and make sure that he does not, in fact, have that spell. He might have picked it up while I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, these guys are doing a great job of confusing us with some decisions. I mean, Link Sevens is he's a very good player. He's known for doing Zelda 2 100% all keys, so he's a guy that we know has good combat, understands the game well. I am not one to be making criticisms or questioning how he's playing, but that is strange. Okay, so Vonkie just grabs the heart. Okay, he just went in to get the item. He is not gonna go punch Karok.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Reflect spell, although it is nearby. It's not very far from Maze Island, as a matter of fact. Link is in 5, and he's found the item room, so this will be interesting.
Oh, well, maybe that's the magic that he needed to cast Reflect.
And it is a magic container, so Link has 7 magic containers. He also has the spell, which means he can grab the 2 items out of New Kasuto now if he wants to.
Well,
and he doesn't have the glove, so he probably does want to.
Yeah, this is working out to be a better decision now than I think it seemed on paper. And I understand Vonkie going in to just pull the item out of Palace 4. Like, if he came here anyway to pick up items and he was nearby, maybe he thought it wouldn't just take too long to try to find that and come back.
Yeah, it didn't take him very long, that's true, to find that item. Could be a really weird seed though so far. It's unclear where the glove is, and not many spots left to check. We've got a Goomba fight on Link's side, so. Yeah,
Goomba being Gem 2. That doesn't happen every day.
Fighting Goomba with Attack 4 and Life 2 is really not ideal, but sometimes you just gotta go for it.
The thing is that Goomba is pretty predictable, and as long as you're solid on your approach and don't just slide into his knees like he did there, it shouldn't be hard. But everybody gets hit, including me. It's just hard to keep this up. Even if he's doing the super safe strat, and it's still a risky proposition because you have to get in a bit closer than it seems. So it's very easy to just swing your sword right in front of Goomba and not actually hit him.
Well, he hits like a truck, too, so...
And then there's that. Oh, Vonkie doing the famous, I forgot which room I'm in, and he didn't go into the fireplace, and instead just walks against the wall for a little bit. He was probably reading chat. Yeah, even with the shield spell, Goomba, I think, is going to do half his life if he swings that.
Oh, yeah. I think on Life 2, yeah, that's a 2-shot. He does have enough to cast Life if he needs to, so he might be able to take 3 hits.
Yeah, the only
maybe 4 if he's lucky.
The risky thing is that since this is such a long fight, if he takes those hits really, there's the glove. It's in the spell locked weird cave that appears at the edge of New Kasuto.
So Vonkie's got to be real happy about that find.
Absolutely. So I think Vonkie, if he wanted to, he could. Well, I mean, he's on the eastern continent, unless he uppaid.
I think we're gonna see him clear 2 and 3.
Yeah, that
next.
Yeah, he wants to do that and hopefully never come back here. Just sail east and go about the rest of the game.
we know that he needs the trophy to get the Thunder Spell. He does not yet know that, but we know that. So we don't know where the trophy is. Could be on Death Mountain. In fact, seems likely there's a 2 in 3 chance that the trophy is hammer blocked. So.
Mm-hmm. And if they haven't pulled anything out of Death Mountain, then the hammer could be there. Or I mean, did they get?
That's true.
Did they get the items out of? Oh no! Well, one of you said Pals 2 was key blocked. Does that mean that the item was also key blocked? Or sorry,
no, we
glove
found
blocked?
We found the item in 2. The item in 2 actually cannot be glove blocked. We did find the item. I think it was just a heart container.
Okay.
So the only items we don't know are Death Mountain, 1 hammer blocked cave, the magic container lady in New Kasuto, and Palace 6. I think are the only items that we don't know about. Maybe Palace 3. I don't think we've seen the item in Palace 3 yet either.
Oh yeah, because Vonkie was in New Kasuto, but he doesn't have as many magic containers as Link does.
That's right. That's right.
It's so cool when the racers have like pretty different item collections and spell collections, and then because of the things they find and in which order, their routes just start going totally nuts, and it makes it really hard to tell who's ahead because there's going to be like later swings if someone will appear to be ahead, but they're going to have to do backtracking that the other person didn't do. Ooh, and there's a Link stabbing some blocks that he can't break.
Yeah, Guma is down on Link's side. I think he's just kind of grinding a little bit to take his next attack level.
Yeah, I mean, getting out of attack 4 is really important. I know that there's a lot of debate about like how low you can go in this game, and it affects both obviously how much damage you do, but also how much bonus you're going to get off of the end of palace gems that then you can spend on your other stats. But I don't think even the most brave is advocating attack 4. Is it Jackamus who or is it Angry Larry that really likes attack 5? There's
my guess would be Jack. Jack is the one that you've seen doing attack 5 strats.
Holy moly!
I've done that maybe once or twice. I really don't like it though. Attack 6 is kind of my personal minimum. Poor Vonkie has forgotten the route in Palace 2 that he took to get to that glove-blocked room.
That is, you know, it seems like you'd be getting a knowledge advantage if you kind of duck into some of these palaces and figure, because you know it's nice to just see if you can grab an item really early. Or maybe you'll just stumble upon a short palace, but as the race goes on and you go there maybe 40 minutes later, it's I don't blame someone for forgetting exactly how they got through the palace the last time. It's just a lot of, I mean, the lay of the overworld and all the other palaces is randomized every time, so it's a lot of information to try to retain. And I think people are accustomed to mapping Great Palace, but I don't think people are usually mapping the other palaces.
No, I don't think so. I've heard of 1 or 2 people mapping Palace 5, but other than that, usually not.
So Dig Shake, on the eastern continent, it's fairly common to see Lizalfos stuck, buried up into their necks in the ground. It's very nice for us players who are trying to farm experience easily and at low risk. Is there any particular reason why that happens so often?
Yeah, not intentional, but and I'm not fully clear on the details, but part of the reason that it happens is if you look at the normal map from the original game, there are no grass tiles on the southern half of that continent. And so when you get on a grass tile encounter on the southern half of the continent, the game doesn't really quite know what to do. So it tries its best, as you can see, but doesn't really quite know. It's not prepared for that situation, and so it doesn't really turn out the way that you would expect it to with the enemies.
Yeah, I mean, it's a humorous thing to see. Oh, we're seeing, is that the fairy feet trick where you scroll yourself off of one side of the screen and then end up exiting the combat zone on the other side and just totally bypassing an encounter?
Yep, I imagine Link's on his way to New Kasuto to pick up those 2 items.
Indeed he is. So this is...
And we got a helmet head fight over here on the other side.
Well, it's pretty deep into the game, and it's attack 3, so a lot of times... Oh, it's a heart container. That's...
Well, we know that the other one is the glove, so he'll be happy to see that. The question at this point seems to be where is the hammer? It could be in Palace 6, it could be maybe in Palace 3, or maybe on Death Mountain. We're kind of running out of options here. We don't know that the hammer is required, but it seems likely at this point that they will need to find the hammer to complete this seed.
Oh, we get a nice pose from Link Sevens as he casts the spell, and he's going to go in and scoop that glove.
Yep. So I wonder if we'll see an update from him now as well and go back to complete Palaces 2 and 3 like Vonkie is doing currently. And he's thinking about it. There's the update.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's just gonna go straight into Death Mountain. I wonder if they're gonna guess that they need to do that, or if they're gonna try to.
Well, at this point, Link knows he needs the trophy, and he knows this game really well. He knows that there's a really good chance that that trophy is hammer blocked. So,
yeah,
I'm not sure. Doesn't seem like he's ready to act on that information quite yet, but he'll have to eventually.
It's a big commitment. There's so many caves there. I think it was Buzz Sunder said that there was something like 40 different entrances on Death Mountain, and
sounds about right. Yes.
That's just a lot of work. That's a lot of screens, and obviously you're not going to go through every cave, but after a while you'll start going through a whole lot of them.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of depends a little bit on how the layout of Death Mountain is. If it's an open layout, you can check a lot of caves very quickly, but if it's more constrained, then you don't really have a choice. You gotta start digging deep and going through a lot of caves. And look at this, Link is going to Death Mountain. He, I think, is hoping to get lucky here.
Yeah, no one wants to do this, but it's the numbers are in his favor. He does have boots, so that does make it easier. He probably didn't have boots when he came in here before, so there might be like a couple.
So best case scenario for him, he finds the trophy. A nice, second best scenario would be if he finds the hammer in Hammer Cave. The worst outcome would be basically anything else. And he actually seems to have already gone ahead and abandoned his plan. Looks like he's going into Palace 3 instead, perhaps?
Maybe he remembered one boot-blocked cave, and that was all he was willing to explore.
Or maybe he remembered that he hadn't found the item in 3 yet, and thought, maybe that's the hammer, and I don't know. And again, I don't want to question his thinking. He's a great player with a good PB in all keys, and I'm sure a much better PB in randomizer than me. But once you're already there, man, you've already spent the time to go there. It's not that far, but it's something that I think I was doing a lot when I was first playing this, was like going halfway to something and then kind of
double backing and deciding that that wasn't what I should do, and there's just a whole lot of time hemming and hawing, and it's really easy to doubt your decisions, especially when you're in a race and you feel like every wasted moment is putting your opponent ahead of you. But yeah, it sometimes pays off to just commit to a decision that you've made, or you spend a half hour in Death Mountain and get nothing.
Yeah, and we see Vonkie actually in Death Mountain now, so he is now taking the gamble, hoping to find either the trophy or the hammer, preferably the trophy. I did just see the rock on screen, so we have located it. I'm not sure that they can get there yet, but...
I think when Link was in there, we saw him walk by the boulder. Oh yes, because so the boulder is accessible from, it looks like, a number of screens, so he should be able to get back there if he ends up finding the hammer. As you said, if he finds the trophy, he can just dip out. But if he finds the hammer, he's going to have to check that boulder and then one or more caves on the overworld.
Just the one on this seat.
Okay, just one. There can be 1 to 3 boulders. Am I right?
0 to 2. 0 to 2. So Link has cleared Rebenak. He's going to go back, I think, to grind and also probably to search for that item a little bit, I imagine.
Yeah, you know, double backing for grinding is something that we all do. It's something that none of us like to do, but if you have to find the item anyway, then it feels a lot less bad.
Yeah, it definitely does. He seems determined to take out these blue iron.
This is so sick. Just attacking those guys, it looks great, and it's also, it just feels brave because, I mean, I don't think blue iron knuckles ever become not a pain to defeat. Like, you can learn pretty good strategies of dealing with them, but they're always dangerous. They're always a chore, and I think all of us have that, you know, memory of being a child and not understanding how to deal with these guys. So they always feel like top tier enemies to me. Yeah, going backwards through these, wait, did he leave the screen and come back just for experience? Okay, no, he is trying to make his way through here. Oh, yeah. But he is trying to kill everything. Maybe he's not going for the item at all. Because he would find...
Unless he already found it and I just wasn't paying attention. But, let's see what he does now that he's got enough experience to place the gem. Is he gonna go back?
No.
He is gonna go back.
Yeah, that was pure XP grinding. Okay.
I missed the item in 3 then. I don't think anybody's found it, but I guess it's possible that somebody found it when I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
or he might just be placing the gem for safety so that he doesn't game over or something unexpectedly before he has a chance to get his next attack level. Or it might be faster to just go back to the beginning of the palace and search for the item.
That's true. Yeah, if you know that the fork in the road was right at the beginning of the palace where you suspect it is, it would be a lot faster to just up A and start from the beginning. It's one of the really friendly features that was added to the randomizer.
He's not going back. No, he's going back into Death Mountain. So he must have already found the item in 3. That's the only thing I can think. I have to go back and watch the tape on that one.
Yeah, there's so many. You know, these guys are on. Well, now they're both in Death Mountain, but they've really split up across this race, and it's a little bit tricky to kind of keep in mind everything that's happening because they're in wildly different parts of the world most of the time. Vonkie has found an interesting bit of Death Mountain that we haven't seen yet, I think. No.
He has explored a very large chunk of this.
There's always more. I mean, the randomizer actually just keeps generating caves until it decides that you're done. I don't think that there's ever a fully explored Death Mountain. There's always more. So wait, is Link leaving again?
Yeah, it looks that way. Looks like he's leaving again. I've seen Vonkie in this room at least 3 times.
Yeah, this is one of the interesting caves that has 4 entrances. So you can find different parts of Death Mountain depending on which of these exits you take. Well, that one didn't take him anywhere. That's the worst, man. Oh god, I hate this. When you're going through Death Mountain and you take a cave and like all you find is a patch of trees.
Yep.
Or the it's
somebody, I can't remember who it is, calls those camping spots.
Oh, that's cute.
Camping locations.
It can also happen with the River Devil, where you blow the flute on the River Devil, walk up a path, and then it's just more path and a dead end. He's guarding a cul-de-sac.
So Link is maybe looking for Palace 2, I am assuming?
Yeah, I guess it's the only thing that I find curious is that he seems to keep. Oh, we have the item. Okay.
Yep, we found it.
Vonkie has found the item. Let's.
If he walks all the way down there and finds the cross, he is going to be pretty salty.
Yeah, I would like to have his mic on when he finds that, if that's the case. Yeah. Vonkie, a really sweet dude from the Netherlands. We called his match last week, and he came in for a post-match interview. Really friendly guy. But I am sure he is not above cussing out the cross if he found it here.
Oh, definitely not.
So the cross is it's a pretty. I like the cross. The cross makes invisible enemies visible. I'm pretty sure the only invisible enemy are these.
Oh no!
Oh my god, Dig Shake! That's all on you, man.
I'm gonna be hearing about that from Vonkie after the race. I'm pretty sure.
God damn it! That's a real bummer.
I jinxed him. I jinxed him. All right, so we know now that the hammer is in fact required to get the trophy. So where could the hammer be? I guess the hammer has to be in 6?
Yeah.
Or we see Link is actually back in Palace 3, so maybe he didn't get the item. Maybe he was just faking us out.
Yeah, maybe, but if Barb is guarding that thing, man, that's a long way to go to get the hammer to come back to get the spell we need. But that's cool. We get to see a lot more game. We're really getting our dollars worth for Zelda 2 this morning.
So Link didn't get the item out of here. I'm not entirely crazy, at least not because of that. And we're about to find out what the item in Palace 3 is. He does, yeah. I was gonna say, he has the glove. You can go through there, Link.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous room. It doesn't. I mean, I guess it does appear dangerous because there is a lot of lava, but there can often be a lot of enemies knocking you into the lava. That's just a magic container, so that's no help. I mean, it's help, but it is not the trophy.
Well, we know then that the hammer is in fact in Palace 6. That's the only other place that it could be.
Oh, this is the best seed.
There are only three places we haven't seen. Palace 6, and then 2 hammer-blocked items, one of which is a heart container, and the other one which is a trophy. So these players are looking to 100% this seed, basically.
Yeah, Link is now finally going to commit to his decision to explore Death Mountain. Finally now this would be the time for him to doubt this decision and just go find Palace 6. But he is now definitely going to go looking for the item in here.
Yep.
Well, on their way to Palace 6,
So
they'll at least have an easier time on the overworld encounters where there are a lot of invisible Moas that hit pretty hard. They're going to be able to see them now and be able to dodge safely, we hope. Did I?
I think for these runners, that's not much of a consolation.
But I find that if you find the cross pretty early and on the west continent, oh wow. So Link 7's just made up 10 minutes of time by finding this item a lot faster than Vonkie did.
That's true.
So he is really he really scored there. That's awesome. But if you find the cross early, it makes early exploration of the eastern continent a lot more safe. Those things will just beat you to death on overworld encounters. They don't drain. Did I hear that they don't drain XP anymore? Does it just?
No, they
Okay.
do. I'm pretty sure.
I was watching a stream, one of these restreams, and I thought someone said that XP drain was taken off, but I was pretty sure that I kept getting drained.
Well, there's an option to switch what things will drain XP.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
And that option is off, but so Link finds the cross. He is probably saying some bad words right now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not what they're looking for. Would have been nice if they'd found it, you know, early, or at least it would have been a bit more useful. At this point, they've got enough health that they can deal with those encounters, and downstab does help a lot. But
now I don't think Link's been to 2 yet, so I wonder if we'll see him head over to 2.
yeah, the gem is not checked off on the overlay, so
Well, you need the glove to beat Palace 2, and he's only gotten the glove fairly recently, so. We do have confirmation in chat that curse words were uttered when Link found the cross.
Yeah, it's even better that Death Mountain has been hanging over these guys' heads for so long, and especially Link, who'd like really tried to avoid doing it. He went in like 3 or 4 times without actually digging the item out. Finally does it. It wasn't worth it. Poor guy. The random.
Both of these guys are gonna have some words with me after the race.
They're not gonna be happy. But I mean, this is how it goes. I think Vonkie last week before his race, when we were speaking with him, his big quote was that anything can happen in a randomizer. So he can't sleep on any of his opponents. And it's so true. Like you don't. There's very little that you can know about a seed. You know, we know where a couple items can or can't be, but other than that, it's a real gamble, and you could have fast seeds where everything is available to you right at the beginning and nothing is blocked behind hammers that are deep in the game. And I think you've got the time down, the record time in this to something like 55 minutes.
56 minutes actually. Yeah, I just got a 56-minute run last evening, as a matter of fact.
Congratulations. So yeah, I mean, you're a fast player who also tends to forego a lot of items, only grabs the minimum stuff. But those times are really only possible with some of the faster seeds. Oh, we did not have magic for fairy on Vonkie's side of the screen. That's exactly what we were talking about. These, they're just bots, man, but they can. They're
very unpredictable.
Yeah, they move randomly. They can hop in either direction at any time. They have variable distances of their jumps, and they always tend to leap at you when you're in the air over one of these lava pits. And it kills the best players over and over again.
Yeah. So Link has found the item in 3. He's going to go back and place Vonkie has found the item in 3. He's going to go back and place the gem. Link is in Palace 2. I know we found the item in Palace 2. Maybe it was the horn? Or... must be the horn. by process of elimination. That's the only item that Vonkie has that Link does not have. So
Yeah, and Vonkie now, he has enough magic to go to New Kasuto, so he's probably going to stop in there and find a heart container wishing it was the hammer.
yeah, that's true.
And then he should be pretty confident of where the hammer is.
Yep. We know it's in 6, but both of these runners still have a few other options that they'll probably want to check before they concede that the hammer is in fact in 6. I know that neither of them wants to go to Palace 6 to dig the hammer out, but that's what they're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's I know that players they go to the easy spots first, and that's very smart. Like you pick up everything on the overworld that you can just pick up for free. You go to Maze Island, grab the stuff that's for free. You find the items that are in the palaces that you're completing anyway, and the palaces are a lot smaller at the beginning of the game. But then you start having to go to the places that you really wish that the items aren't.
So which would you rather do, Josh? Would you rather dig an item out of Palace 6 or out of Death Mountain?
Oh man, I've started avoiding Death Mountain at all cost. I really, it just seems to be a time suck, and it's so much worse. Like at least, I mean that Palace 6.
So you'd probably go to Palace 6.
I would go to Palace 6 because there's at least an objective in there that I know I have to do.
Yeah.
You have to go there anyway to fight Barba. You don't know 100% that you have to go to Death Mountain. So it's, you can waste a lot of time getting lost in Palace 6, but there's a lot of enemies in there, so you can still be getting levels if you need them. There's Barba and the gem. Yeah, I think that's still the better choice.
I agree with you. I mean, if you got to clear 6 anyway, the chances of you just stumbling upon the item in 6 are pretty good. So might as well clear it out if you're in the area.
Oh, and absolutely, because the nice thing about Palace 6 is that the item room is entered by going right off a screen as Barba is, so you could find it while looking for Barba anyway. So
yep.
that the difference is, like in Palaces 5 and 2, the item is located by going left, and the usual way of exploration in these dungeons is to just go right, because your ultimate goal is the boss. So it's nice when the item is you're basically getting double the odds that you're going to find something that you want to find by going right. So yeah, absolutely, I'd go through that palace.
So I think Vonkie's biggest disadvantage at this point is he doesn't have the item in 5. It'll be interesting to see where he goes first. We know that he doesn't need the item in 5, but he does not know that. So that's another interesting decision to make. Do you hunt for the item in 5 or 6? They're both very large palaces.
Yeah, I mean 6. For the reasons that we just discussed, I think 6 would be the faster choice. I mean, you just have a much better chance of finding it. I mean, 5 is really big, and you're going in the wrong direction.
Yep. That's very true. He does find the last heart container.
Good for him.
In New Kasuto.
Yeah, it is more life. They can save you, but it's really not what they're looking for right now.
He needs to find Thundertown. That is where the reflect spell is, and he really needs to find Thundertown if he's...
Oh my god, Vonkie doesn't even have reflect yet.
No, he doesn't, and he was actually very close to Thundertown just now. Looks like he is gonna go into 6 though.
Oh, that's cool. That's...
So we know that's the right move. He really only had one choice. He could go into 5 or 6, and we know 6 is the right move for him.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of fuchsia palaces today. This is an interesting, interesting seed.
So we have Palace 2 cleared on Link's side.
Yeah, the randomizer not only changes the color, but you get the options of the tile set, which can sometimes have the brick background, like on Vonkie's screen. Sometimes they're black, which I prefer. I think the black just looks awesome, and it can also help just visually unclutter the screen, which can be useful in certain situations.
Yeah. So I think we gotta give a slight edge to Link here, but still a very close race at this stage. Both runners know what they need. They know they need the hammer to get the Thunder Spell. Link does have a Palace advantage, which Palace 5 is actually a pretty significant Palace advantage for him.
Yeah, I think especially if Vonkie goes into Palace 5 and is also looking for the item and not just to find Guma, that could take him forever and really drain a lot of time off.
Yeah, hopefully he does find the item here in 6 and doesn't think that he needs to go to 5 to get the hammer.
Taking it nice and slow in this room, don't blame him. Yeah, I mean the time it takes to kill those dragon heads is well spent.
Oh, and here it is. This is the item room.
So this is all new information. This is where he leaps ahead in the game.
Yep. And Link has not done 4 yet, so I think we're going to see him head over to Palace 4, actually.
Having a little bit of trouble getting Rebanak to be cooperative. He's trying to get that pogo maneuver going in the corner. Attack 5 makes this easier. But he's still at...
Attack 5 is still pretty low for this stage of the game.
It's still pretty low.
There it is.
Oh my god. Look at that.
The hammer.
Yeah, usually if you're doing, let's say like an all keys run of this game, that Rebanak would go down in, I think, 2 hits.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no! Oh my
Vonkie
god!
just
He's
barely
playing with fire here.
Just barely caught the edge of that ledge there.
Oh no! Oh no! that other head just barely missed him while he was pogoing on the other one. Oh, he just keeps spawning. Okay, there we go. It takes damage off the Mew just cause. Oh, I hate that room so much. There's a lot of...
So that decision of Vonkie to go into 4 without Reflect might have hurt him in the long run. It was a gamble, definitely, but he now has to go back to 4 after this to kill off Karok. So that time that he spent might have hurt him, actually.
Yeah, and at this point, they're about an hour and 20 minutes into the race. I'm not sure he's going to remember what paths he took and not accidentally find the item again.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if I would have been no, I think I've been burned too many times of actually forgetting that I needed Reflect in 4 and finding Karok and having to up A out, that I've just decided to never go in there if I don't have Reflect.
So Link has found the item room, and of course he's hoping it's the hammer. We already know it's not. It's gonna give him his final heart container.
God, this palace is so sick. That color's amazing. Yeah, I've never been lucky enough to get the Black Palace. So we've got another Rebanak fight on Vonkie's screen. Assuming that he had no reason to leave, so he's still in Barba's Palace looking for the dragon.
Yep. Has explored, I'd say, maybe half of it so far, so still a lot of rooms left for him to check.
So newer players should take note of what just happened on Link 7's screen. He used the fairy spell to go backwards through that large room with the disintegrating bridges. And it's a little bit of an outside-the-box move that wouldn't occur to people if they're really lost in a palace. That because it's not something that would really be. I don't think you could. I think you could probably jump spell it, but it just since you can't see the edge of that screen. The left edge of that screen when you go in there, entering from the right, you wouldn't think that that's a path that you could take.
Yeah,
it's important.
It is a little confusing because you never go through in that direction.
Yeah, you would
normally.
Never have a reason to do that. And you would just, if you needed to, you would probably just let the pit take you through a few loops and then jump over, I think. Or is there no? You never enter that way. So yeah, it's good to know that that if you've run out of left turns that you need to make, that you can go that way. And he's double backing on one of those key rooms that you hopefully never have to go through. It's a long room with lava and a bunch of pillars with fire on the top of it that you have to jump over, and you're rewarded with a key at the end, which if you don't have the magic key, you might have to do. Which does happen a lot in these seeds, where you find the magic key way late and when you don't need it anymore.
So Link is looped somehow. He's back in the item room. I'm sure that was not intentional on his part, but...
Vonkie just taking a tour of the pits. And he has found a locked door, which is nice because you know immediately that's a way that you haven't been, but it's a dead-end room, so no help there. And yeah,
and here's Karak for Link, so...
Ooh, and Karak's robes looking really good on this background. That blood red robes on a black brick background. Just stunning.
Vonkie has taken a couple loops through Palace 6 here. He's having a little trouble figuring out where he needs to go.
So we're seeing the traditional strat here to just crouch in the corner and reflect the beams back to Karak. If anyone watched the Countess's run from last night, he decided to stand in the middle and just reflect beams in both directions. Which is kind of how I did it as a kid, because I didn't know how safe the right corner was. So it was really cool to see that old school strat.
So Vonkie is going to have to take a left somewhere. I think he realizes that in up A's.
Yeah, he's now seen that dead-end room a couple times from a couple different ways. So
it's been a frustrating palace for him. He passes up a left and then realizes it and goes back.
Yeah, that's pretty clearly the way he has to go now.
It's easy to skip that path, though. You don't really see it in the normal game ever at all, because it just leads to a dead end, and it's very easy to forget that option is even there.
I always confuse that intersection for the one that has the hammer blocks, or sorry, the glove blocks on the left, and it leads to, I think, a key. So I'm very guilty of not taking lefts there.
And there we go, just like that. There's Barba, very close to start, actually. You just have to take a left to get to him. Oops, I marked Palace 4 on the wrong side. Let me fix that real quick. Sorry.
Vonkie trying to do upstabs on Barb here. It is a cool trick that you can do to hit Barba just under the chin, but I think he must not have practiced that a whole lot, so he was going to do a bit more of a traditional fight now.
And so Link is heading into Palace 6. Does need to go find that hammer. But it was not too difficult for Vonkie to find it.
Yeah, he found the hammer pretty quick and then just got lost looking for the boss. That's where all of his time was spent. Otherwise, this would have been a pretty quick palace.
Looks like he's going to go back and grind a little bit so he can get another attack level.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than 100 XP that he's looking for, so this is a... I don't think anyone would fault him for this. Once you start getting into the territory of having... Oh, it's only worth 30, that MOA is. Once you have to start grinding many hundreds of experience, you have to start questioning whether or not that's a good use of your time.
Vonkie still does not have the reflect spell either, so he's going to have to go find Thundertown at some point.
Yeah, he's starting to look more and more behind.
The good news for Vonkie is he doesn't need to. He knows he doesn't need the item in 5, so we're not going to see him even look for it.
Yeah, so he'll be able to just go right in, take Guma out, and not spend a whole lot of time there.
He's going the wrong way for Reflect. Reflect is actually north, and decides to up A, presumably to go just knock out those hammer caves, I assume. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Link has found the hammer.
Yeah, well, if the spell is in Jump Town, then I guess that makes sense to up A, do that, and then not have to come back.
For all Vonkie knows, Reflect might be in Jump Town.
Oh, that's true.
He might think that he needs to go there before he can even do Palace 4.
Yeah, I'm once again confusing what we know with what the players know. And they both have a little bit different information. Oh my god, into the lava. This room.
Yeah, one of the worst rooms in the game.
It's the true,
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the true final boss. My god. Oh. Poor Link Sevens, man. We've all...
Here's Trophy Cave. Let's see if it's actually the trophy or if he needs to go back into Death Mountain. Oh no, it's the pea bag.
The worst. Oh, it's the worst.
We're laughing, and I'm sure the feeling on their side is the exact opposite. They're not laughing at all.
No, they cannot be happy about this. I don't know if it's any comfort, but if they're having that hard of a time, they know that the opponent is having a similarly difficult time. So
yes.
So you could feel like you're wasting a lot of time, but if the other person has to do it as well, it's equal. I'm sure that they would rather be done with this seed by now.
This seed has certainly given them their money's worth.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that.
I've never managed to make this jump the way Link was trying it at the beginning, where you stay on that middle platform and just sort of jump off and then get momentum and then jump up. I always have to do a running start from the floor.
Yeah, it takes a little practice. I think it is a little easier to do it from the floor level. Now let's see if Vonkie remembers the path to get back to that boulder on Death Mountain. And if he can see past his rage.
That's going to be asking a lot. That's going to be asking a lot at this point. And he did not have as easy of a time in Death Mountain as Link did. And so I wonder if Link got really lucky, or if Link has a particular strat or better memory mapping of Death Mountain.
The boulder was a lot easier to get to.
It had a lot of connecting entrances, so he should be able to just stumble upon it before too long.
So here he is, back in Death Mountain. I gotta be honest, I don't really know where the town of Ruto is either, so I hope that these runners have found it and remember where that town is. I sure do not remember.
Yeah, I tend to lose my mapping once the game kind of settles in and I'm on the eastern continent, but the west continent I tend to map out pretty well, and maybe these guys have made notes of where some of those locations are. And I mean, they have the boots now, so if he is horribly lost on the west continent, he should have a easy time of getting around.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, he's found the boulder.
There we go.
And the trophy.
Oh man. Good.
So not quite 100% for Vonkie yet. He has one magic container missing from Palace 5. Oh, and Ruto's right there, right next to start.
Oh, killer.
Not difficult at all.
Good seed, Dig Shake.
Yeah, well, gave it everything it had, that's for sure. Yeah, I dropped some frames there, sorry guys. It looks like things are better now, so. So there is the Thunder Spell. He still needs the Reflect Spell. He still needs to find Thundertown. And Link's gonna find Barba here, so really all he needs to do is get the trophy. Oh.
What happened there? Did he just bonk his head on the ceiling? That's pretty easy to do when you're going fast, because if you don't lose any momentum coming into this boss fight, Barba is guaranteed to appear exactly where she did right there. And but as you're kind of rushing in to make sure that you get that manipulation, it's very easy to hit your head. I assume that's what happened, because he hasn't cast any spells, so it's not like he took a death for magic and he had tons of magic anyway.
So Vonkie's gonna go take care of Palace 5. I think that's a smart thing to do. It did not take Link very long to clear Palace 5, so let's see how long it takes Vonkie to clear out this palace.
I think Link had a much quicker Barba Palace than Vonkie did.
He's gonna go back to grind a little bit. He doesn't have to get that much though.
Nah. And so now he's going to be able to take all of that experience for the next attack level, which actually is not available, taking that jump really carefully this time through. And he's going to dump that into magic and life levels. So he's going to have pretty nice levels going into endgame here. Attack 8 is kind of falling out of favor, I think, with racers just figuring that Attack 7 is just about as good as Attack 8 for most things that you're doing at the end of the game.
I'm not a fan of Attack 8. I will rarely get Attack 8. Although on a seed like this, where you're basically 100%ing it, it's probably easier to take Attack 8.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been in so many more combat situations than you would really need to go into in most seeds. So they're just, they have access to lots of experience. Yeah, and then, the super high magic level is a lot less critical when you have every magic container there is.
Yeah, absolutely. Link, interestingly here, dumps all of his experience into magic, though, and not life. So he's at 875.
Yeah, I was questioning that. I think that for Great Palace, having life 8 would be much preferable, because you're not casting tons of magic, and it doesn't really reduce the cost of those spells by tons at that point. And
yeah,
I mean, I think the biggest enemy in Great Palace is just taking a lot of hits off of Bird Knights, or some of those bullet-filled awful rooms that you can get in in Great Palace. Although those don't do quite as much damage, they just kind of knock you around a lot. But being able to stay alive in there and not having to game over in great palaces. Really nice. Okay, so he is about to find the pea bag in Trophy Cave.
Yeah. Yep. And we see an interesting thing happening here on Vonkie's screen. Link, when he went into Palace 5, was looking for the item, so he went left searching for the item, and I think that actually helped him since Guma was kind of close to where the item was. Vonkie, on the other hand, knows he doesn't need the item and ended up taking a different path as a result, and is going to explore a lot more of this palace, unfortunately for him.
That is a great observation, Dig Shake. I think we saw a race not too long ago where it was, I believe it was the same palace where there's a fairy screen where you have to, where you would ordinarily do the eco key or have to cast fairy and then come back for the key and 100% all keys. And the racer who didn't have fairy was forced to go left, and because of that had a very, very short palace, which I don't know if it helped win the game, but definitely gave him a big advantage in that palace because the person who did have fairy just went right and explored basically the whole joint before having to go left at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how sometimes you can stumble into the right path like that. And Vonkie finds a dead end. I think he just needs to up A here. He might be afraid to since he has a fair amount of experience, but he's got a lot of backtracking to get back to the right spot.
Someone in the chat is asking, it's not going to take that long on endgame enemies to get life 8, right? Well, I think it's just at the end of the game you stop killing enemies. Like, if you can help it, you're really not killing anything in Great Palace. You're just hopping over everything, downstabbing across them, maybe killing a spicy chicken because they're sort of dangerous to get around. But if you can help it, you really won't be spending any time fighting at that point.
Yeah, that's very true. Thunderbird will give you a lot of experience, so if you have if you only need like 1,000 points or so, you can maybe get a level off of Thunderbird. But
yeah, I mean, Link has spent all of his gems at this point, so he's only gonna get levels that he earns the hard way.
And there we have Link completing the true 100% of this game.
Unbelievable.
Every single item, every single spell.
That's great. Very rare to see this. Did they talk to Bagu? Did they?
I did not see Bagu, no.
Even in a...
Doesn't count. Run is void.
Link, did he just... Or, sorry, Vonkie, he might have just missed that that jump there, opting to ferry over these screens.
This is another room that's just terrible.
Yeah.
Don't like anything about this.
Oh, and there's the bullet dogs as well. That has everything. Like, you go walking through this room and you're like, man, could this get any worse? And the randomizer is like, I got you, fam. Here's some more flying dudes.
So Vonkie has backtracked all the way back. He is going the right way now. I believe he needs to go down this elevator, if I'm remembering properly. Which I may not be. Considering that he's now moving left. He has explored a very large chunk of this palace, though, which is not going to make him happy at all.
No, he's 100%ing this palace. And,
and there
damn it.
There he decides to up A, but actually it was probably closer for him to just keep going at that point. He's not too far from where he was, though.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that too, like thinking that the fork in the road that I really needed, oh, this room is awesome. just fire getting dropped from the moas, and you got the bonefish and the blue dragon head things, and a low ceiling. Just everything crummy that you could get. But yeah, it's I know a lot of times when people feel like they're deep in a palace and need to go to a fork in the road that was earlier, they'll up A, but oftentimes it's just a couple rooms back.
Vonkie has already been here. He's exploring rooms that he's already seen before. He needs to keep going left. He actually just needs to go left, I think, almost as far as he possibly can at the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, and it's no criticism. There could be a little bit of tilt involved. Like, this is now an hour and 42 minutes into a very frustrating, grindy seed, and it's not going to be easy to make. You know, here in our ivory tower, we're calmly watching them have a fun and frustrating travel through Hyrule.
I'm sure he's not happy right now. However, I do want to note that Vonkie is on record saying that he enjoys the trolley seeds. He actually likes the trolley ones, so...
Hey, well, we got one for you, dude.
Yeah. They don't get much trollier than this.
Yeah, actually, King Doll, I was speaking to King Doll last night, and he says he likes these kinds of seeds, especially with a lot of backtracking, because it plays to his strengths. The really high-level times, oh my god, this freaking room. What does Angry Larry call those? The red polar bears?
Yeah, the red polar bears.
I know them as Doom Rattlers, but I guess that might not actually be an official term. But King Doll says that he prefers the seeds that have people backtracking because he tends to get a lot more of the items. He doesn't skip as many of the zones that the players with the very top times have. So he feels that his only way to beat the top players is to have a seed where they will have skipped a bunch of stuff for speed and then have to do backtracking, whereas he will have already got that stuff. So he needs the seeds to be trolley in his opinion.
Well, poor Link is exploring stuff that I'm fairly certain he's already explored. Although I don't remember seeing this section. Maybe he hasn't been here yet. I'm really not sure. He seems to think that maybe he has. He's turning around.
And yeah, we're gonna get to see just how bad this Great Palace is. I don't see even the nastiest of Great Palace being too difficult for Link Sevens. He's only at life 5, but he's got lots of boxes, lots of heart containers.
Yeah, that might have contributed to his decision to take magic levels instead of life. Was the massive amount of heart containers that he has.
Yeah, this is a lot more than you tend to have in a randomizer. I explore a lot in, I don't have a very good time, but I explore a lot, but I rarely end up finding all of the heart containers. These bullets were in vanilla Zelda 2: A Link to the Past. They're in the game. They just weren't. It was just kind of buried in the code, right?
Yep, they're in the code, but not actually used in the final cut. They took them out for whatever reason, but I put them back in. And so far, not a terribly difficult Great Palace for Link. Lots of paths to take. He's already found a few of those dead ends, which is actually, I think, kind of a good thing, to find those quick dead ends like that.
Ooh, and just getting bum rushed by an orange bird knight, another new addition to the randomizer.
Yeah, there's the life 5 affecting him. Those bird knights are very powerful.
Oh my goodness, yeah, 2 hits and he's already below half health.
One of those hits took off 2 or 3 boxes of helps. It's just crazy.
Yeah, he must have gotten hit by a beam and then took a body shot. Do those do different amounts of damages?
They do, yeah, they do. I believe the body shots do less damage, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh,
Poor Vonkie has explored. He's been here before. He's already been here before. He was actually, when he up A'd, he was actually closer to where he needed to be, and then re-explored this entire branch of Palace 5 again.
Yeah, it's so easy to do, especially as they're getting deeper and deeper in the seed. And what happens when you're in one of these races and things are going slowly and trolly? It's really easy to feel like you're way behind, and that extra pressure just makes it harder and harder to make calm decisions. We have a Thunderbird fight. Attack 8, this will take the bare minimum amount of hits to defeat Thunderbird. I don't see this being a problem at all.
No, not for Link. He's good at fighting Thunderbird. He should be fine.
Yeah, going for the traditional pendulum manipulation. Again, in the Countess's race last night, he was fighting Thunderbird basically at the center platform, which is a pretty dangerous thing to do because it just bunches up. Oh my god! And then Darklink immediately after Thunderbird.
Yep.
Just like it is in Vanilla. You always hope it is. It's I've been hearing it more and more in people's streams. Like as they exit Thunderbird's room, they say, "And here's Darklink," as if it will make it. As if it'll make it true. So Link 7's taking down Darklink. He got jumped on by Link. I believe if you jump at the same time as Darklink jumps on you, you can dodge that hit. It's kind of the only bit of strategy that you really have in the fight at all, besides just standing in the corner and swinging your sword. Some people stand, some people crouch. I don't actually know what the difference is between.
You can actually swing faster by crouching. I think that's why people do it. But like you can, if you mash the B button, you'll get more swings in if you're crouching than if you're standing. And let's see, we've got both runners in the chat room. It looks like if you have small children, you might want to send them out of the room. Standing. And let's see, we've got both runners in the chat room. It looks like.
Yeah, what did you guys think of this seed? Link 7's, you just completed this. This was a long one.
This was a long one. I could have been, I think, a little shorter if you had just happened to dive the right palaces first.
Yeah, well, the hammer was the big hang up for both of you.
Yeah, I obviously did 100% item clear, and that wasn't entirely necessary if you had checked some of the right spaces, but.
Well, what were you thinking? Well, both of you actually decided to go into Death Mountain to find the Hammer Cave before searching some of the other palaces. I was wondering what led you both to make that decision.
I crossed off my list a few other options, and the reason I went there is I knew I needed a trophy because I did not have the Thunder or the Reflect spell yet, so I knew I had to go in there in order to find a trophy or the hammer. And well, that was my reason.
Yeah, I think I had Reflect already, and it came down to I knew the trophy had to be blocking Thunder, and it had to be in Death Mountain. So I figured either it was in the Hammer Cave or behind the rock. So I dove in there just hoping I could find the Hammer Cave easily and not have to do the rock, and the hammer wouldn't be required. And luckily I did find the hammer item pretty quickly, but it was a cross, so that was a really disappointing find.
Yeah, it
But
took
then
me a
I knew I
while.
just had to start diving palaces, and then of course I started going in order, and finally the hammer was in 6. So
Yeah.
I think the upsides were that palaces 5 especially was really short. Even
Seriously?
with
Oh my god, I'm spending so much time in here.
you spent a lot of time in 5. I don't know.
Well,
I went like straight left, and found the item, and then I started searching to the right on my way back and found Guma right away. So
Yeah, that's
it was
good.
like an
yeah, we'd actually
attack 4 Guma for me, but
I just finished
we
5.
actually
I kept on going, but I took a wrong way because I did not need the item in 5, so I immediately started searching to the right, and that basically screwed me over in 5.
yeah, we noticed that on the stream, and that really hurt you a lot, Vonkie, not going left at the
I
beginning
still
there. I would
haven't
have done the
I
same
still
thing
haven't found
though. I would have
reflect
done
either, so I still have to do 4 as well. It's pretty sad actually, because I have no idea where 4 the reflect spell is.
yeah, I
yes.
don't remember which
What
town had reflect.
It's an old Kasudo. That's the only one I'm missing.
Oh, okay.
what made you decide to dive into 4 for the item, Vonkie? That was a pretty that was a gamble on your part, I
I
think.
knew I needed a few items, and I was there anyway, so I decided, let's go there. It wouldn't be the first time the item would be was in there, so
Yeah, unfortunately, just I think it was just a hard container or
yeah,
something
I
like
ended up.
that.
I'm just missing one magic container. The rest I've got everything. It's basically a 100%.
Yeah, that magic container is in 5 actually. So
Yeah, I know. Because in 6 was the hammer. I still
yep.
haven't found reflect. I couldn't find the town, probably because I haven't been in the area yet. Well, the 100% screwed me over. I knew I needed the hammer, and I made a few poor decisions and mistakes as well. So
I think Old
Was
Kasuto
in the
was
it?
right
beginning, I
next
had the
to
feeling I was in the
Nukes.
lead because I went east rather fast and found the boots and stuff. But
Yeah, you did actually get off to a very fast start.
oh god,
But
town is
man,
right here, is it?
this was a hard,
There's the town.
really hard seed.
I think Old Kasuto was like right next to New Kasuto, but maybe it was just
Yeah, I just
upstream.
found it. The reason I did not find it is because I got a spell from there and opened it out of there.
Oh yeah, I searched. I think when I went up, I went all the way to the left and then back around to the right, so I came across from left to right and found them both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was really actually
unlucky
early
on the
on. I was
items.
kind of hoping. I started. I knew I still needed thunder, and I started diving, and I started finding magic containers. So I was really hoping the glove was behind the magic lady in New Kasuto, but
Yeah, by the time I got there, I was hoping it was the hammer. So
yeah,
it
but
was really, really weird.
glove was behind the spell cave, so
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad.
Oh well.
Yeah, that was it was actually not that hard of a seed in terms of experience, and
I think there was a bit of low experience in dungeons, but
some
overall,
of the earlier dungeons, especially 6 in particular, had a ton of experience in it.
yeah.
But
I did not have a lot of problems with 6.
I did have to go back a couple times and farm a little experience, but
Yeah, I
I've
made
had
a few
way
poor
worse
decisions.
experience.
5 took me forever, and my Ribbonok fights were terrible today. Oh my god,
yeah.
I messed them all up. So now I know how to fight Goma again, and now my Ribbonok fights are terrible. Oh crap, I'm actually dying again.
Good race, Vonkie.
Yeah, I made a
It
few.
was a
few.
really interesting race to watch. I gotta say, I know you guys were probably not happy about the outcome, but from an entertainment standpoint, it was very fun to
Well,
watch.
I knew I was gonna lose this one. I told you in the beginning. I had a gut feeling it was gonna be one of those troll seats, and I was right.
Yeah, unfortunately, you were You were correct.
I
Let's
actually explored everything. I even went. I found the trophy cave only to find out. Oh, there's your candle item.
Yeah. Well, and I dove back into, after I did Trophy Cave, I dove back into Death Mountain and came across the rock pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I didn't
But
actually end up spending that much time in Death Mountain overall.
spent way too much time in there as well.
Yeah,
As
Link,
soon
you
as
had
I
it very
went in-
quick.
As soon as I went to the trophy cave and found that candle pea bag, I knew I was fucked. I mean, I had everything. That there was a 50% chance, and well,
Right.
when I got the boots rather early and I could explore a lot of the eastern continent, I was pretty confident I was a little bit ahead on my gamble, but then came the troll. It was just horrible.
The
yeah,
boots really opened things up for sure.
you were ahead early, Vonkie. You absolutely were. It was just it was really, I think, the time you spent in Death Mountain that
Yeah,
was
I
when
messed
Link
up
managed to
5.
catch up to you.
Messed up 5 because I did not need the item from there anymore.
Well, Link, you are going to move on to take on the number 3 seed, Jackamus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a
Should be.
commentary a few days ago or early in the week or something together, and it was like, well, if we both win, we're going to be up against each other. So
Yep.
that'll be. I think
And
that'll actually be a really tough race because Jack usually comes ahead of me in the open races.
yeah, Jack is a very, very good player. He just likes to go. He doesn't like to stop for any reason
Yeah, I think he has a
whatsoever.
little better just battle strats mechanics down than I do, so probably gives him a little advantage. But I've come in ahead of him before too, so it could be
I
a good race.
actually forgot where Kirok is. It's also ridiculous.
And Vonkie, you get to take a couple weeks off, but you'll eventually be taking on the winner of perhaps Joshy D, and the Joshy D's opponent is yet to be determined. Actually, that race is happening tonight versus Simple and V Resner. So one of those 3 runners will be your next opponent, but it'll probably be at least a week or 2 before
Oh
we
my
know for
god,
sure.
I really can't find Kirok.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Coming for you,
everything
Vonkie.
Oh wow. Oh well.
Starting the trash talk already.
And I actually thoroughly explored everything. I went east, trying to get as much as possible from the overworld.
I like that decision to go east early. It usually pays off, and it did pay off for you this
Yeah,
time.
I don't even think there
was
was much choice. I think Southwest's Hyrule, I think I had gotten everything there, and Northwest was boot block, so I think you kind of had to go. But
yeah. All right. Any final questions for either of these gentlemen, Josh?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I guess the only thing I was questioning earlier was when Link Sevens appeared to go into Death Mountain several times and then kind of have a change of heart. There was, I think, when it wasn't sure where the items were or what exactly was going to be needed, there was a little bit of hesitation.
yeah,
Like, were you just not confident that the seed was going to be as trolly as it was?
I was I kind of waffled a little bit because I decided, okay, I got to do Death Mountain. There's a likelihood that the trophy is in there, and then right away I found the other exit, and Palace 3 was right in front of it. So I was like, well, I'll go do Palace 3,
Oh,
and then
sure.
I'll come back. And I found the Rebanak, but not the item. So I was like, well, maybe Death Mountain will be faster. So I went back in there and didn't find stuff, and then I went back to 3. Maybe that'll be faster. So I was just kind of wasting time going back and forth. But
Yeah, it's
oh
hard to
well.
make those decisions, especially like, in a tournament situation. And I mean, Death
Right,
Mountain is just never appealing.
right.
Yeah, I knew when I went in there, I knew I had to be there because I found the kit, I found the medicine, so I was only missing 2 spells, so I knew I needed a trophy. And well, I predicted it at the start of the race, so I told Big Jake. And when I saw the seed taking a long time to generate, I was like, "Oh God, here we go."
But it really did make for a great race because the lead changed or was not apparent for a large portion of it, and you guys had such wildly different routes.
Right.
that
There were
it was
probably even points late where if for whatever reason Vonkie had found the hammer or the trophy and I'd spent a bunch of time searching, that would have evened it right up even, an hour and 20 minutes in or something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you Link, probably gained 10 minutes or something like that on Death Mountain because you found the item super fast, and
Right.
Vonkie had a more difficult time finding that item cave.
More difficult time. It was hell. Jeez. I think I found every cave, and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah. And I've
I
had
saw
those
the 1.5
seeds even
hour minute mark come by, and I was like, "Okay, done, so I can end this hell."
even in the last week I've had seeds where I've spent a good half an hour in Death Mountain just trying to figure out what cave to go into.
Yeah, I hate Death Mountain. That's also part of the decision when I entered
North Carolina
Palace
State
4
is
is not that
tied
big,
with
so
number 3 Clemson at 17-17.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Go North Carolina State, although Clemson won't fall very far, but maybe they'll fall
anyways,
far
I
enough.
can finally go to the
So
bathroom.
maybe win Oregon.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. For any of you viewers out there, please shoot these runners a follow. I posted their links in chat.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks.
follow.
We've got
not
a we've got a race ongoing. Bent Glass 2 versus Undead Phil. I'll probably send you over there in just a minute. That's happening on Angry Larry's stream. And then I was just informed that we have another race happening tonight between V Resner and Simple Dude. That'll be taking place at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Don't know who's going to be restreaming that yet, but somebody probably will be. So I'm going to send you over to Angry Larry's stream right now, who is restreaming another tournament race already in progress. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the restream, guys.
And it looks
On
like
the
he's
bright
gonna head
side,
into,
thank
I think
you.
That's Palace
If
3,
I get
though. I don't think that's
on the bright side, if I get knocked
Bent
out
Glass
by
2.
Jack, if I should have won from Jackumus, I
Oh,
don't
yeah, of
have
course
to
it's
face
3.
Uno, so that's a positive thing.
Yeah. Well, congrats on your win, Link, and we'll
Thanks.
see everybody here next
Yeah,
time.
good game. I'm glad you finished, because, well, I did not want to finish this anymore. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.